Try to figure out how to work this stuff. What up? What up? Still trying to figure out how to do all this stuff. So stupid. I don't want to pay for StreamYard now. I'm just like, screw this. I think they were trying to charge like 30 something bucks a month, but I don't know. Like I said, I'll get this down sooner or later. You got questions, you got topics, go ahead and shoot. Welcome in, welcome in. If you got topics, got something you want to cover, go right ahead. What up? What's going on? You got any topics, anything you want to cover, just let me know. Let me know if you can hear me, whatever else. I done already made 3 attempts on trying to go live. What can I tell you, man? I've been telling people about Keith Thurman. It's not shocking, it's not surprising. Yeah, I like CJ's channel too. I watch it a lot. I watched him when he first started. He's gotten a pretty big channel. But yeah, I'm not shocked or surprised by Keith Thurman. It's what he does. There was no real interest for that fight either. I heard it didn't sell too many tickets, so it's not shocking or surprising at all. And it's not what he typically does. He never tries to challenge himself in that regards. He's another guy that started at the higher weights and actually moved down. So it's just not how he's built. But I mean, he's done what he's done, and like I said, his Manny Pacquiao was Danny Garcia. You know, uh, he's just not a dedicated fighter, and I'm pretty sure it takes a lot for him to actually feel motivated to get in the ring. Um, I think he likes the attention. I think that's the number one thing that he likes to hear himself talk on the camera. I think that's like the highlight. Oh, he just wants to get on the camera and hear himself talk. Williams Cepeda, did he lose to what's his name? What's old boy's name? Regis Prograis. I didn't see his last fight. I didn't catch it because I was working. But I heard he blitzed dude in like 4 rounds. But is that the same Zepeda or is that someone else? Floyd Schofield again. I'm missing a lot of boxing this year. I haven't even really been keeping up on boxing. Schofield or Zepeda? Hey, what's up, WJ? Man, I'm sorry my videos, I be going full blown Ryan Garcia. You know, we haven't even came out with crazy stuff yet. So just keep that in mind, WJ. I mean, I got some crazy things I could share, but I don't like to talk about experience. Not just yet, you know. You guys got any topics? Go ahead, drop them. And I mean, I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. I haven't even been really been paying attention to boxing that much this year. You know, did he just have a fight? I'm gonna have to check him out, man, and get back to it. A lot of these dudes, what I don't like, and it's just like a Duran in his boots. They wait too long before they finally start having these dudes fight people. And you see anomalies like, what's his name, Devin Haney. He's been challenging himself. Ryan Garcia. It seems like people people thought uh, he would be a guy that pulls out, but Keith Thurman is outshowing Ryan Garcia at this point in that regards. But Ryan Garcia, he's down to fight everyone, it seems, too. So, but the majority of these other fighters, they'll just milk them and they'll stunt their growth and they'll give them, sacrificial lambs. And then you really can't get a good idea or tell just how good these guys are. And I think we're already starting to see how it affects a guy like Geronimo Boots. He's already had a few blips. So, but when you go back in the day and you look at guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, he's already fought two all-time greats by the time he was age 25. They just don't do that stuff anymore. I haven't been done. It's just there's not fights that interest me. I don't like even this Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney fight. I'm not interested in that. You know what I'm saying? Jake Paul seems to be more busier than a lot of these other dudes. You know, I'm just waiting for these true fights to get made. That probably is a Haley's comment. You're probably not going to see welterweight be unified like that for a while. That took like 5 or 6 years in the making for that to even become a possibility. It's sad, man. It's sad. They gotta do what UFC does. They gotta, even when you're trying to build up these young fighters, have them on the undercards. They gotta stack their cards just like how UFC does. Well, it's just like with, some movies, they'll talk about their box office being more successful than what it actually is, and then you come to find out that they actually lost money. It's no different with boxing. Boxing, they're trying to fake it till they make it, and they're trying to, especially when you got a company. Let's just use PVC as an example. You're trying to dig up your numbers to entice the investors, and that's just, it's a game of fake it till you make it. And it's affecting the whole sport, but that's why they do that. Lion Killer, I don't know if you guys watch him, but he has a lot of industry sources, and he was giving out the real numbers for fights such as Danny Garcia versus uh, what's his name, Errol Spence, and they tried to tell you it's like 250,000 pay per view buys, but it was really like around 130 or whatever. And he was doing this for all fights. He was giving up the numbers for the Caleb Plants versus Canelo's, and I mean the proof speaks for itself. Canelo had to restructure his contract. You never seen guys like Floyd Mayweather or Manny have to restructure their contracts. We know Manny was getting robbed blind by everybody, uh, but again, he was still getting paid his money. He didn't have to revert like Canelo, or how we even saw that they did the same with Triple G. And the market's just inflated right now, and these fighters, they're kind of onto it, and I don't blame them, especially when you have mouths to feed. But if I can get paid 30 million in a fight that I know I'm going to win, why would I not take that opportunity? I don't know what fighters should do at this point. Maybe band together and see if they can do things on their own. Well, I mean, if you have a promoter, why am I going to pay you if you're not promoting me? Um, like Terrence Crawford, for example. I'll just use him as an example. We know that he likes to play Call of Duty. Now, if I was Bob Aaron or whoever his handler was at the time, I would try to work out a deal where, okay, I'm going to try to, you know, have him in some way, maybe have a commercial or something. You know, we saw that McGregor was actually featured in a Call of Duty game, and McGregor, this is a guy who's had sexual assault, and all kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? Um, Again, what does a promoter do today, and why are they even needed today if they're not going to go out, and try to sell you or whatever? So I'm just saying that's just one aspect. Crawford also likes to shoot guns. So let's figure out what kind of guns. His gun collection is ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure a lot of companies would love to have, you know, a guy speak about their product or something like that. That's just simple stuff. But we also saw that Crawford was in the UFC game, and he's in that boxing game, right? That they still haven't released yet. So I mean, it's just little things like that. But when you saw like Sugar Ray Leonard, even what's his name, Marvin Hagler, he had a deal with Coca Cola or Pepsi, one of them. These guys, they really got out there. Um, and I don't know their situations if they had a promoter. I know they did work with Bob Arum at one point. Bob's worked with everyone, but it just seems like they were more mainstream fighters back then than they are today. And that's another thing that's wrong with boxing because they make everything exclusive. So you have to pay per views everything, even for fights that aren't even pay per view worthy. I think Bud stops Boots as well. Boots has a lot of holes in his game. He really does. I've seen, for people who have eyes to see it, you can see when he gets hurt and when he tries to poker face it. And that George Sosa fight was very telling, but it's the same weakness he's had even as an amateur. Guys who are actually squared straight up with him, they can land on him a lot, and that's how George Sosa landed his shot. And I saw, what's his name, Chudanev, or I don't even know how to say his name. He landed the same right hand on Boots, and Boots was stunned. I could literally pull these clips up and show them just like I used to when we did our film studies. I mean, I don't sit here to try to hate and, fanboy. You know, I'll pull it and I'll show you receipts when I tell you this stuff. What's this? I don't believe that is ducking. I believe he wants a big fight. Well, he's like 36 now. You know, and he's got like 8 kids. So at this point, what is he going to do? You know, like seriously. And although they're trying to downplay the fight and its success, I mean, it didn't have a $20+ million gate. You know what I'm saying? And pay-per-views are just they're not what they are anymore. You know, the problem was that they probably did pay Crawford and Errol Spence too much money, but they do that with every fight today. We're seeing the same problem with guys like Canelo. These people, they're not getting their value back in their investment. I don't think it's the fighter's fault. Again, if I'm paying a promoter and your job is to promote me, you know, it's not just making me fights and things like that. What are you doing as far as that? As far as that, are you getting my name out there? What are you actually doing, and what am I paying you for? You know, um, I think Crawford understands that they're supposed to work for you, and not just, it's a symbiotic relationship, not just one-sided relationship where you're doing the bare minimum, and I'm out here willing to fight whoever you put in front of me. So I can't blame the fighters, but some of them, they seem to be uncomfortable, um, very comfortable with where they're at, especially how they're being handled and things like that. Um, Micah Keith Thurman, for example, you've been inactive, what, how many fights in the past, however many years? Are you fighting to even get put out there? Like, what is your problem? You know what I'm saying? Some guys, again, it could be their fault. Other guys, I don't know, but um, boxing, we've talked about this plenty of times. You got an apple and you got a bunch of worms eating the apple. So they could do a lot more if they worked with each other, but of course, that's, coulda, shoulda, woulda, what if, world peace type stuff. And there's a world that is ideal, and then there's a world that actually is. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's Floyd. I don't know what that situation is, but their fighters all kind of move the same way. I think a Lomachenko fight would be good too, but at the same token, I think it would be dangerous for him, and I think they're looking at it from that standpoint. I think they're still not confident in Tank to even put him in with the Lomachenko right now. So, and you'd be surprised when you try things and if you actually take risk. It does have a bad side that could occur, but it could also propel you. And they're just not willing to do that with Tank. And I think Tank is going to follow the same type of pattern that a lot of the other fighters do when they finally do get in a real fight. When you put them in too many showcase fights, it's going to stunt their growth. So, and I think Tank is at that point now where he's just been given too many of those types of fights. He's not ready for real fights. But I could be wrong. You know, I'm just going off of what I've seen from the others for the most part. Let me see if I missed anything. I will say this: you say, or do boxers do enough? When you compare them to like a guy like Floyd Mayweather, and you saw what he did. He went to the WWE. He went with Dancing with the Stars. Plus, he's just a flamboyant type personality. Uh, people are going to pay to watch just to see him lose. I mean, he's basically PT Barnum of boxing, but you know, you look at it from that standpoint, but then you have guys like Crawford who says, why do we have to act crazy and ignorant to sell a fight? So, I mean, you know, there are multiple sides. It's always a double-edged sword. Yeah. It's been cold in Arizona, man. I'm tired of this. I need the heat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out these dudes because, like I said, I ain't been paying attention to boxing that much this year. And again, I'm not interested in fights. You know, like Keith Thurman versus what's his name. So it was a dumb idea to begin with. And what did you expect? You know, what did you expect was going to happen? Business wise, it doesn't make sense. And again, nobody's asking for it. I think we touched on touched on Tank a little bit. I met Floyd in Vegas. I shook his hand. It was after that first Castillo fight. That was back in 2001. He was at the Club O, Caesar's Palace. I also met Gamboa that night too, Kevin Kelly, and Leonard Ellerby, dude. That dude's, dude. What people say about Leonard Ellerby, dude, that dude was like he was like a chick. He was like kind of jealous when I was talking with Floyd or whatever. But Floyd, he was, at least when I met him, he was a pretty down to earth type dude. Um, and he shook my hand. He came up to me because I was telling my boy, hey, that's Floyd Mayweather. So that awareness crap that you used to see back in the day too. Like we were in the club, dude, and it was loud and everything else, but he could hear me talking. So he came out, walked up to me, shook my hand. Like I said, he was a very down to earth type guy. But Leonard Ellerby was giving me like dirty looks, dude. I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? But I haven't met Bud or anyone, but I have met a lot of fighters. Kevin Kelly was a cool dude too. Gamboa, he didn't know any English, so and that's right before he went with 50 Cent, and then the rest is kind of history. His career kind of went down the drain after that. But he was like with his partner, and again, neither one could speak English. And I almost met Oscar De La Hoya. I was actually hanging out with his cousin in Vegas. But yeah, I used to always go to Vegas and go watch the fights, but now it's gotten too like expensive and stuff. Like even the drinks. Like back in the day, you used to be able to go to Vegas like off $200 and be straight. But now you're paid like even the drinks are like super expensive. You know what I'm saying? So that plus there ain't too many fights again that are even worth going down there in my opinion. But yeah, it was for the Floyd Cotto fights when I met Oscar De La Hoya's cousin, and the dude was trying to take my girl at the time. So I have some stories, man. I have some stories. Stevenson, they're already blackballing him. I don't know if he's ever going to get an opportunity, at least anytime soon. And of course, they're going to use the boring thing against him just because he's very technically sound. I mean, he's in dead man's land, you know, he's in purgatory. He's not going to get too many big fights. He might be able to sneak a Ryan Garcia fight after this. I don't know. If Ryan Garcia takes that fight even after Devin Haney, you know, I think he deserves some props. But Stevenson, Oscar De La Hoya's cousin, dude, this dude tried to take my girl at the time. She was Hispanic and he was trying to speak Spanish and crap. But he claimed he could get us into the fight. So he was trying to pull off to the side. That was a long time ago. Like I said, that was before Kodo. We did get into what's it called, closed circuit, and we didn't have to pay. So he did at least hook that up. But we were just down there because again, back in the day, you just go to Vegas on a whim, and I'm here in Arizona. That's an easy drive. So even when there weren't fights, me and my boys would go down there just to party or whatever. When I used to be a very foolish man. Upload that story. There's not much to talk about, man. There's not. I remember there was this the same night there was this African dude who was trying to pick up chicks, and it was funny. Me and again this girl I was with at the time, we kept running into this dude, and he was trying to spit to every girl. And I remember towards the end of the night, he ended up getting demoralized, and he was like wanting to quit. And I remember hyping him up and everything. Man, this channel we ain't never been about the clicks, views, and likes. Man, I really don't care. And I know that I hit topics that people don't want to talk about or say things that people don't want to talk about. So I just like to put myself in a position where I can say I'm right. And that's like where I'm like, see, I told you guys. That's about the only like enjoyment I get out of it. Um, but we can definitely come out with a lot of content just to come out with content. Whenever I have free time, man, I don't know what you're talking about, but you know, I'm kind of a boring old man now. Got kids. I literally just work. I used to be a fun guy back in the day. You guys got any topics? Go ahead and drop them. I don't care what it is, what it's on, anything. You know, I wish they had more fights here in Arizona. It's a good place to have fights. They have the Gila River Casino. They have their arena. Is I think it was where Danny Jacobs last fought at. And like I said, it's nice up here. We also have the Cardinal Stadium, pretty nice. I mean, it's not an expensive market either. I think it has untapped market value if people really wanted to utilize it. I know in Tucson, Oscar Valdez, he's had a couple fights down there, but they got a casino down there where they have fights. Man, you know what, dude? You know how hard it is to talk about that stuff? And listen, I just barely got in this like the past few years. And the only thing that got me into it is when my life started getting wrecked. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's always a constant, like, daily, like, try to learn and just try to learn what you can when it comes to that stuff. But literally at work, that's all I do. I'll listen to Bible stuff all day. Like, when I say I'm like a boring old man at this point, I am, dude. That's all I do. But hearing and doing are two different things, or as we all know what the struggle is. But to me, it's been the most interesting stuff that I've come across because a lot of it hits, dude. I'm amazed. Like when I came across it finally, I was amazed. Like, was I not reading this earlier? You know what I'm saying? How was I not reading this earlier? And listen, I was a guy. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I was very big in science and things like that. So I was one of those wannabe atheists and believe that anything could be logically explained. There could be a reasoning behind it, anything. You know what I'm saying? I finally got hit. on my head, dude. And I was like, what is this? What is this? Like, what is going on here? And I'm telling you, dude, I'm telling you, it ain't never been the same since, man. And when I try to quit it, it's just like Jeremiah. I start getting that fire, man. And I'm like, oh, I got to go back to my Lord, dude. I got to go back to my Lord. Can't sit here and be playing games, especially at my age. Majority of people don't, man. Even people that go to church, that's the craziest part, you know. And it's hard. It's kind of hard to grasp at first. Like I said, I didn't really start getting things until I probably through my second read through. Because the first read through, I'm just reading all this stuff, and again, you kind of just take it at face value. But when you start going deeper and deeper into it, and even when I'll read like scriptures I already read like 10 times, like I don't know. To me, it feels like things kind of unlock, and I don't know. You get more understanding, but also I read. I do a lot of like if I'm not reading the Bible or listening to it. Yeah, man, I know what you're talking about, bro. Like I said, I could go full blown Ryan Garcia if I wanted to, and people would just be like, "What is this dude talking about?" Not as crazy as Ryan Garcia, but I hear exactly what you're saying, dude. I do. I'm not ready to unveil too much yet, man. I'm really not. But I think people that there's also a stigma when it comes to the Bible because the world does try to put it in a negative light. And I think what was most controversial for me is like it literally tells you 1 + 1 = 2. And I think that's the hardest like thing for a lot of people to grasp. But I knew when I first read it, I was really drawn to the psychology because it was like dead on human nature. And then as I started diving deeper, looking at the historical references that are around the stuff as well, and seeing. And then it took me a while to really understand that there is a spiritual aspect, and that it is real. And that's when my mind was like really blown, and I'm just like, this stuff is crazy, man. This is insane. Like, this is crazy. This whole time, this is why that was happening and everything else. And I'm still a baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a baby. Still a baby. I'm still on milk. You know what I'm saying? Just doing my best to implement what I learned into my life. Same here, man. You like the? Are you a truck driver? As far as that spiritual audio stuff though that you're talking about, dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, I'm not ready to divulge and experience yet, though. But yeah, people in the church they don't even read the Bible. What company do you work for? Because I was a transportation manager for like 7 years. So I worked with a lot of companies. I was the guy that routed the freight, you know what I'm saying? And then we'd use GFM to hire the whatever companies that bid for them. But now I'm a driver. So JB Hunt, yeah. We've done business with them when I was doing that. I was telling Mark Nash the other night because he likes to fly a lot. I will not. I'm to the point now. Like I don't care if I go cross country or not. Like I'd rather drive. And people don't realize you can go cross country in just a couple days. You know what I'm saying? Like here in Arizona, I can be in Virginia in a day and a half. So a lot of people don't understand just how small this country is, how easily you can just cross it easily. That's pretty good, man. Yeah, that's good work, man. It's hard too, especially if you're driving at night. I used to be able to drive at night pretty good, but now I'm getting to the point where like I won't even mess with it. You know what I'm saying? I will pull over or whatever else, sleep at a rest stop or something. But yeah, Balash, nobody reads the Bible, and I think it's pretty crazy once people actually do start reading the Bible. I used to be able to do it when I was young, man. I could do it so easily, but now I'm like, I don't even, I don't even risk it anymore. It's what happens when you get old, and it depends on the drive too. If it's like desert or something, there's nothing to look at. It's definitely dangerous for me. Like, I'm like, no, let me pull off the side because that's the most enjoyable part for me is when I get to see the countryside and stuff like that. But if you're like up north or depending on where you're at too, it's dangerous because I've seen a lot of deer and it's just crazy when you see their eyes like in the dark and everything. And I'm always like kind of afraid now that I'm gonna hit a deer or something too. So there's like a lot mind tricks and mind games while I'm driving at night. It's like practice, man. When I was a kid, I used to be able to read books like nothing. And then as I got older, especially going through school, high school and that type of stuff, I started to lose interest and it was the same thing. Um, and schools today, it's really, I don't know. I don't think they inspire people today. But I think if it's something you're inspired by, you start to retain it. But if it's not, it's just going to go through, even when you talk to someone, it's going to go through one ear and out the other, you know? But it's practice, that's definitely for sure. You become a more proficient reader the more you do it. It's just like everything else. But again, if I'm, it just depends. If I'm reading like a TM for a vehicle that I'm operating and I'm doing a check, of course, that stuff I'm not going to retain. Yeah, it's just practice. The Bible hits different though. And then I also thought was crazy is like everything that you see today is inspired by it, whether it's against it or for it. You know what I'm saying? But your Marvel movies, it's all inspired off the Bible. DC movies, same thing. They do. It depends on who you're influenced by. When I first started, I think I told this story, but I was listening to guys like Joel Osteen, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get rich. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then it kind of took movement from there. And then my favorite preacher right now is Charles Lawson. He's a guy in Tennessee, but he's pretty good, and he's Southern Baptist, old school, hellfire preacher. But he's also educated on it as well. But he still carries that kind of I don't, that fiery aspect of it. So when I didn't, I'm not saying that I have discernment now, but I can definitely tell the difference between a guy like Charles Lawson and Joel Osteen now. You know what I'm saying? But I used to think that Joel Osteen was a good preacher, you know. And then now I'm at the point where I'm starting to see all kinds of groups. You got the alien group. These people they want angels to really, they're putting a lot of their faith in angels. You know what I'm saying? And they're excited when talking about UFOs and stuff like that. But then you got these other people like the Bethel Church, and they're just straight up doing New Age type stuff. Furtick, I don't know if you heard of him. He's a popular preacher, but he preaches the New Age stuff as well, and he says some pretty crazy things. And I'm surprised that people don't pick up on that stuff. And I don't know, man. But then you have like the educated group, and I listen to them too. Um, Anthony Rogers is a good guy because he took like seminary and that type of stuff, and he married a Jewish woman. He's always fighting with his, his wife's dad, who's Jewish and doesn't believe in Jesus. But he knows a lot about the hermeneutics and things like that. What's widely acceptable, as far as the educated, people that go into scripture and what they really meant during this and the hermeneutics and blah blah blah. But all I can say about that is when you go through the Bible, Noah wasn't a popular guy. Jeremiah wasn't a popular guy. And then you come to find out that all the prophets were like slaughtered. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just a worldly thing. And the Bible even tells us about that, how these people are going to be tickling your ears and things like that. And I see it today, man. And that's another reason, why I only come out with like 2 or 3 videos a week, if that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm always afraid of what happens when you acquire that type of position where you got a group of people and you can definitely take advantage of them. So I don't know, man. I was reading Jeremiah 4, and it's a whole chapter on repentance, man. And that chapter was just hitting, dude. It was just hitting. He's all like, you need to follow, go follow your ground. And like I said, that kind of retains to what you read in the New Testament as well when the Lord talks about, the soil. And you have to kind of go into the Strongs and stuff as well to kind of understand what they're talking about. Because a lot of it, you're not going to know what they're talking about. But Jeremiah 4, man, it's funny that you bring that up, dude. I was just reading that today. Whole chapter about repentance. And he's sitting there trying to cry to him and tell him exactly what's going on. And like I said, none of them had big ministries and none of them were popular at all. And they were even killed, persecuted, Jeremiah thrown into stocks. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy today. But that whole positive feel good crap, dude, there's something behind that as well. Kind of touched on it a little bit in a couple of our past videos. So no need to get too crazy right now, man. I'm ending my work week. I got the next 2 days off, so kind of relaxing until I get another assignment. And I'm like, I got to talk about this. I got to talk about this. That Charles Lawson, though, man, if you ever have time, listen to him, dude. That dude has some pretty good sermons. And they attacked him, too. They found out, they knew that he had, like, his church have acquired $2 million. But this is after, like, almost 50 years of being the pastor of this church. And when you look at guys like Copeland or Joel Osteen, they have far more than just $2 million. This man's acquired about $2 million in 50 years. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of try to went through a smear campaign and calling him whatever and everything else. But he's been back on fire since he's recovered from that, where they tried to, basically persecute him and stuff. And his sermon that I was listening today is good, man. It was good. I'm on my phone. Uh, if I do go with StreamYard, I'd love to utilize where I can just drop links and stuff and whatever else. But Charles Lawson, man, that guy's on fire. Old school, old Baptist type church pastor. I know we always talk about the Antichrist as well. I know if I see, a one-eyed guy and he's in charge and he's got a withered arm, that would be a dead giveaway. But yeah, he's good. Charles Lawson is good. There's some other ones too, like John McCarthy and Body Bacham. But Charles Lawson, he's just one of them old school type guys. We've been on for 46 minutes. You guys got anything you want to talk about? Feel free to drop it in the comment section. You're becoming a boxer? I don't know what to really say. I tried boxing out for a couple of years. Blue corner boxing. It was in Southside Chandler. Um, he had a few fighters that went pro, but he trained a lot of MMA fighters too. A lot of the Lions Den people that were with Frank Shamrock used to send their fighters to go work with this guy that I used to be with. But it's a lot different when you get hit. I mean, kudos to you, man. I ended up joining the military and going that route, but I do have respect for fighters that go out there and want to take the risk and all that. Combat sports, you know, it's not a walk in the park. I don't. Well, Christians that don't believe in spiritual warfare. When I first started out, I didn't believe in the spiritual aspect of the Bible. I think it's a common thing, and I don't think those who do believe in it should be so harsh on those that aren't. It literally took me to have my life being destroyed to me understanding, oh, okay, this stuff's real. You know what I'm saying? And even when I saw stuff, I didn't want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? I would tell myself that stuff's not real. I would convince myself that that stuff's not real because I was afraid and other stuff. But, um, you know, it's very hard, man. Trial and tribulations, exactly. And when this stuff was happening consecutive to me, I still didn't want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no plausible explanation why this stuff was going on. And it really took me a long while to understand that there is a spiritual side. And what I was telling W.J. Luckett earlier, he's talking about spiritual audio. I've had those type of moments too, where you're just given a word and you don't understand why you were just given this word, and it just the way it happens. I've had other experiences too, but I don't like to talk about the experience aspect because that's kind of dangerous in itself as well. You know what I'm saying? A lot of churches today, especially when they're promoting New Age, but a lot of Christians don't understand what these people are promoting. They promote experience. So then you have a group of people that try to chase experiences. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what pagans do. Pagans take like psychedelics and things like that, repeat mantras and things like that, and it's all for experience. Um, but what I like most is, to me, what I always try to drive home is like the word itself is supernatural. That should be enough of experience that you truly need, especially when you continue to get into it a lot more. But it took me a while to understand the spiritual side. So people who don't, I can say that I can relate and I do kind of understand what they're going through. But when I saw certain stuff, again, it was to the point where I was trying to convince myself there's no way that happened. There's no way this is real. No way at all. So I think it just takes a little bit of time for people to finally start understanding that this stuff is spiritual warfare, and that, you know, pretty much the Bible is 100% true. And I was a guy who stubbornly tried to, by all means, not accept that. So, yep, that's how it happens, dude. It comes out of nowhere, dude. My life was just fine, dude. I was living the American dream, and I'm trying to tell you, dude. I'm trying to tell you, it's just like Job, dude. It came out of nowhere, bro. And betrayal and everything else that came along with it as well. It was not fun. It was not fun at all. And the Bible tells you that's precisely what's going to happen. So, look. And a lot of times you want to play the victim, you self wallow in your own self pity. But when you kind of understand the process in hindsight, it's like, okay, this is basically the Lord having mercy on me as your life is like in ruin. But it's just crazy, man. It's crazy how life works, and it's crazy how God works. It is. It's absolutely insane. I will say this though: if the enemy would have left me alone, he probably would have had me. That's all I can say. He would have definitely had me. I don't know why he attacked me. You made it worse. I'm just saying. You probably more than likely would have had me if you never came into my life, dude. I would have never have went to the Lord or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I'm saved right now, but still, we are at 53 minutes. Whatever you guys want to talk about. Well, good luck on being a boxer, bro. Seriously, we're probably going to end the stream here in about maybe 5 minutes. I've already been on for an hour now. Just getting off of work. Just wanted to see what's up. I'm going to have to check out some what's going on in boxing. I know Keith Thurman pulled out and all that, but like I said, when you cover boxing, it's mostly just TMZ drama. So who is a preacher? It's by design, man. It's always been that way too. By design. Oh yeah, right there in Glendale. Yep, yep. It's pretty crazy how someone just decided they wanted to shoot that dude. Well, I mean, when you look at society as a whole today, um, especially amongst the youth, I, I'm sure you saw that story of that school fight, with that girl. Um, it's just getting crazier today, man, and it's going to continue to get crazier. And again, I just have to say that it's by design. That's just the crazy stuff that they let us know what's going on. That you get to see on the news. There's a lot of crazy stuff in the background that you don't know what's going on, and you'd be surprised who's involved in it. Is that girl that got beat up? Oh, man. I'm gonna be doing a video on SEL, which is social emotional learning and things like that. Yeah, dude. I didn't care to watch the video. I just read what happened, and I was like, "There's no way I can watch this stuff." I know it's brutal, but the early 2000s, I started to always have a feeling that there's something wrong, and I kind of felt like life was dumb, and I felt that a lot of what my friends were doing was stupid. But wherever I went, it was the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And I was running into the same type of people. But we clearly started becoming more degenerate early 2000s, and then you see where that has led to today. Um, and you can see that in everything, in the movies and the music and everything that I even talk about today. I was born in 1982, so I'm an old guy. Um, and I just remember food, everything was better back in the day. And it's gotten progressively worse. But again, is that me just being senile now that I'm getting older? But early 2000s, I could start to see how the degeneracy was rising, you know? And I think it's reflective of our youth today and just our morals and values as a whole. Um, Society is getting more degenerative. Look at TikTok, you know what I'm saying? Look at the kids that we were just talking about, Kylie Game. But like, I don't know. Even with my own kids, man, like they're super smart, but like I don't know how they pick up half the stuff that they pick up today. I mean, I know how. Their mother will let them watch TikTok and crap like that, and they'll do the same crap that they see. But it's just becoming more degenerative, and people are becoming more self-centered and things like that. And our morals, again, when you watch TV today, look what's even on children's shows today, and you see what they're pushing today. So, but even in relationships, you know, they're very superficial. You have a hookup culture. People don't even know each other. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like what's that video game, The Sims? People just they're like NPCs today, bro. You know. Whatever you want to talk about, man. If you got a topic you want to talk, we covered Keith Thurman. We talked about Tank a little bit. Yep. So I mean, we talked a little bit about boxing. I talked about as much as I could about boxing. But like I said, you got something you want to talk about, we can definitely talk about it. I think that would save that event. But I also saw something where Crawford almost got in a fight with a comedian or something. I mean, I know he was in the gym and he was sparring bigger guys and things like that. And it would be no different when he fought what's his name back in the day, that Cuban dude. I already forgot his name when he had 2 weeks' notice to step in. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if Crawford is on point right now, but I saw he almost like was trying to punk a comedian or something. So I mean, if he's doing that type of stuff, I don't know if he's being focused on boxing or what he's doing right now. And I think Bernie recently said that he's still focused on Canelo. So who knows what Bud's doing? You know what I'm saying? But I think it'd be a good opportunity. But there are other factors. You still got PBC, and I'm sure they'll try to shoot that down. They seem to still trying to play games with Bud, and Tim Tszyu didn't seem too confident about Bud either. I think he kind of halfway admitted that he was ducking. It probably isn't happening. Who is going to take the Fundora? Like, who's going to take his spot? You guys are in the know as much as I am. I'm sure PBC will pull something out of their butt. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a Fundora or something like that. This is me just guessing. Lubin, what are they going to do? To me, the fight never made sense to begin with. Like, who was even asking for that fight? How did it even become a possibility? Is that true, Robert Guerrero? If they pull Robert Guerrero out of their butt, dude, I mean, that's just. I was a big Robert Guerrero fan too, especially when he was like at 135 on Friday Night Fights. He was a very entertaining fighter. Don't get me wrong, but you know, but it's just like, what are they going to do? I'm sure it's going to be a Fundora or someone like that. They are good with their PR, but again, I don't think it drives up as much interest as people try to give it credit for. Even when they are on network television, and I made this example before, but Oscar De La Hoya was able to get 6 million viewership on HBO fighting Steve Forbes at 154 pounds. And, you can't have a fighter even do that on network television today. I think they have some. They're good at making clowns. Keith Thurman, Broner being another clown, and people kind of want to see these guys get beat. But again, and I think it's kind of echoed on the internet. So you'll have a loud group talking about how these fighters are really relevant, but again, it doesn't really transfer to pay-per-view buys or anything like that. I think they're good at fake it till you make it. I'll give them that. You guys got any topics? Let me know. Otherwise, I've been on for over an hour. Well, you know, when the whole Anthony Joshua and Wilder thing was going on, you know what I'm saying? They don't keep the consistent standards that they do. At that point, AJ, although he was far younger than Wilder, they didn't take that type of stuff into consideration. They thought that Wilder already deserved 50-50 and all this other crap. And then, okay, so why don't you keep that same energy for a guy like Crawford? A guy who actually has done more than Errol Spence. And, it just depends. And I don't, I don't understand their logic. You know what I'm saying? Again, you're trying to discredit AJ, who's done more than Deontay Wilder, and you're trying to discredit, you know, Bud, who's done more than Spence. You know what I'm saying? I can go live tomorrow. I actually have tomorrow off, and this stuff, I'm still experimenting with this. I don't have the slightest clue what I'm doing when I'm going live. It took me 3 attempts to get on live tonight, dude. But I don't know. I'm also here in Arizona, so we're on Mountain Standard Time. So I'm down for tomorrow as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, especially if there's actually something as far as boxing to talk about, other than the same old, same old. Crying about elites hurting his pockets. I heard they did pull his marketing, but I didn't watch any of the videos. I mean, that's what they'll do. Recently, I never watched this guy, Andrew Tate, but he's highly popular. And I caught a couple of his past live streams. And the one where he got arrested the next day, it was actually highly entertaining, but he explains that stuff. He said he basically turned down the dress, and that's when all this crap started happening to him, and they started throwing him in jail and character assassination and everything else because he turned these people down. He says if they keep messing with him, he's going to tell who offered him this endorsement deal. You know what I'm saying? But I had no idea about this Andrew Tate guy. I didn't know how big he was. Yeah, man, I've been hitting some topics that I know make me look crazy and people don't have much interest in, but I mean, I'm still going to come out with them. And what's funny is Dune was probably the first movie I've seen in theaters in like forever. And I was bored one day and I was like, screw it, I'll just go to the movies. I'm not schizo, bro. I'm not. And I get drug tested more than most people that do. You understand? So I get randomly tested almost every month. So, well, I'm talking about Doom Part 2. I didn't even see the first one in the theaters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's been the story this whole time on this earth, man. The truth is something that people hate. I thought the movie was good, dude. It had high production value, everything, and I was mesmerized. The sound, everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's because I haven't been to the theaters in such a long time, but I was like, okay, you guys are you're hitting people over the head with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then when I saw like the stupid ziggurat at the end with the spear over it, bro, I was like, okay, yeah, okay. Are you talking about during the parade or after the fight? Like I said, man, I hope Crawford is staying humble and he's not letting this stuff get to his head. Again, I just saw where he almost fought a comedian, allegedly or whatever. And he's always been a hothead. That's just how he is. But I hope he's just staying humble again. Well, that's kind of a complicated question, but they kind of do an ecumenicism. Not only are they supposed to represent Muslims, but those who are looking for a Messiah in general. And we know that. the Muslims and the Christians are looking forward to a Messiah. So that's kind of a double-edged sword that they're using there. You know what I'm saying? Although, the Muslim world, they're really mad at how they're being represented, how they feel they're being represented in that movie. It's really a shot at basically anyone who's looking forward to it, a Muslim. And for them, it's a double-edged sword. They get to say either these people or those people over there. And I've never read the books or nothing. So, you know, they try to blacklist Crawford from the. Who are you talking about? But I think there's a more deeper meaning. Oh, PBC. They're always doing that same crap. But Crawford in general, he's not what boxing wants. You know what I'm saying? He's a type of guy that just does not fit in its current system. And there are other guys that are experiencing the same thing. Shakur Stevenson, you can say what you want. He's a little kid. You know, he still hasn't matured mentally and things like that, but he's being blacklisted as well. Yeah, Crawford went through you know, his persecution, but I hope he's staying humble again. I don't know if you saw that video I did, but what's his name? Boots' father knew they were going to get that belt far in advance before that happened, and he even called it out. I put the video clips on there, so yeah. Hopefully Crawford doesn't put on a dress, bro. I hope he doesn't. Seriously, if he does that, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to delete all my videos on Crawford. I'm gonna have to. I don't know, man. At that point, for real. But that Andrew Tate dude, he said his. I've only seen his last two live streams, and they were funny, dude. I was like, oh, okay, this is. I guess I see why people like this guy. I know, and that should make you think, like, why is that the case? Why is he pushing these type of ideas? You know what I'm saying? Al Heyman's a businessman. He knows what he's doing. And you see that a lot of their fighters, like Keith Thurman, for example, he's like this Buddhist, Christian, whatever else when you hear him talk. So I wasn't either, dude. Andrew Tate, I don't know. He's popular for some reason. Again, I just seen his last couple live streams, but I thought they were pretty extremely funny. Him and his brother, he does his live streams with his brother. So Al Heyman is for you can tell he's an effeminate type dude. Like I don't need to see him talk in front of the camera and know that. I just know how he moves. I look at his fighters, and they all seem to have the same issues. They're undisciplined, things like that. It definitely represents some feminine leadership because you get those kind of results. See, I didn't even see that. You know what I'm saying? I just played that clip, and it was mainly Ryan Garcia. Maybe that's how I got into him because I think that was only like 10 minutes worth of the interview. But I saw where he was arrested, Andrew Tate, and then they're like, "Here's the stream that got him arrested." And I watched it, dude. It was hilarious. And they're like, "Watch, we're gonna go to jail tomorrow." And like, sure enough, dude, they ended up getting arrested, dude. And I know exactly what they're going through because I went through the same crap. But I'm not gonna get into that. I was not offered to wear a dress, but I understand how like the Department of Justice works in this country, and it's a joke, though. It's a joke. He was. But it's funny, him and his brother went off, dude. And they went off on it, dude, on the agenda. They went off on it, dude. It was hilarious. I was laughing. I might do a video on that just to show them. Yeah, they were talking about the agenda, bro. They were talking about the dress, how they turned it down, and basically that's when all this stuff started happening in their lives. They were thrown in jail for 3 months before or something. But Andrew Tate, he was a Muslim. Now he's claiming to be Christian, but again, he has kind of a past. You know what I'm saying? You guys got any topics? Just throw them up in the comment section. I've already been on here for 75 minutes. So we'll keep going. I don't have to work tomorrow, so I'm just chilling. Well, his dad was in the Navy or something like that, but his dad got busted for something. And he doesn't talk about, what happened with his dad. But his dad seemed to be a pretty, other than whatever he got busted with, he claims was a very smart, intelligent man. And, they're claiming to be highly rich. Again, I don't really look into that. So he was in the CIA. So, again, I don't know too much about that. You know what I'm saying? But he said his dad was calling out all the stuff that we're seeing today and whatever else, and his Twitter's still up. And I haven't just taken the time to get and do more research on this stuff. I just looked at the streams for entertainment, and I was highly entertained. And that takes a lot to entertain me, to be honest with you. But he seems to make some sense when he talks too. So again, he could be a con man. I don't know. What up, man? What's going on? All you night owls up tonight, huh? You got topics? Go ahead, drop them in the comment section, man. We already been at this for 76 minutes now, so you know I don't have to work tomorrow, so I don't mind. I mean, it's crazy when you start thinking about your age. I don't feel like I'm that old, but I am old. I don't know what's been going on with the NFL. I did watch the Super Bowl, but I was highly disappointed. I did feel like it was scripted, but again, is there anything crazy going on? Man, enjoy it when you can. I keep picking up shifts and things like that, and I was just about to lose it, to be honest with you. I was all cranky. Wednesday, I had a pretty bad day. Like everything that could go wrong could go wrong, but I knew it's just because like I've been working too much, and I'm eventually going to need rest. So listen, I don't. I see a lot of people talking about that stuff, the upcoming eclipse. I don't. We'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? If they're trying to associate it with end times and all this other crazy stuff I've seen on the internet, we'll just see what happens. But I'm not really phased by it, to be honest with you. That was stupid, man. They signed Russell Wilson. Why? Like, why? You saw what he did with Denver, so why would you? You know what I'm saying? What are they trying to do? Like, I don't know. And he's like, he has nothing about Philly. Russell doesn't. Philly, it's kind of a grimy type place. Hard workers, things like that. Russell Wilson is like the exact opposite. Like, I don't see that being a good fit. Oh, you're telling me you can feel it, huh? I don't think so, man. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about that, and I've heard some crazy stuff. And when I see that type of stuff, I'm like, okay. I'll tell you this: the last eclipse, that's when the Hamas attacked Israel. But again, as far as if this is going to really mean something, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If Canelo loses to Munguia, it's like I don't know what to say at this point. I got attacked by a Canelo fanboy here pretty recently, and he's trying to play what aboutism. If you go in the comment section, my last Canelo video, you'll see our conversation. I literally repeat myself 6 times because they all do the same thing. They try to play whataboutism and bring up Floyd, and I'm like, what does Floyd have to do with Canelo? You know what I'm saying? Did Floyd pee for Canelo? Did he pay Canelo's judges? And I literally, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, his mama called him Santos, so I'm gonna call him Santos. But regardless, I get tired of all the fanboys, dude. And that's why I don't do the proxy race war like a lot of people on the internet. Because to me, you're all the same. The Lomachenko fans are the same as the Wilder fans. And Canelo fanboys, zealots are the same as this fanboy zealot. Wait, what video? The last one or anyone before that? I don't know, man. I forget what I come out with. Did I come out with the film study with GGG versus Canelo? That's crazy if I did. I know I did do it. I don't remember uploading it though. Man, you must have caught that because I don't. Maybe it's still on my other channel that's on that weird. I forgot what it's called. But if it uploaded that, that's crazy because I know I did it. I know I did it, but I don't remember uploading it. And I've been wanting to do film study. I don't like the current type of boxing talk today because, like I said, it's TMZ. I can come out with 5 videos today. Like Crawford almost got in a fight with a comedian. I could easily come out with a video like that today. You know what I'm saying? But again, we're kind of missing the matchups, but there ain't no fights being made. And you got guys like Keith Thurman pulling out and Ryan Garcia again. You know, people are more interested in the stuff that he's talking about more so than the fight with Devin Haney. So, and why would I make a film study on Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, me and the Pacquiao fans have history. Yeah, we have history, man. Like I said, the Errol Spence fans are easy. The Pacquiao fans back in the day, those guys were crazy, dude. I got death threats from those people. Steve Kim saw when one of them told me I've been greenlit back in the day on Twitter. Is that official? I mean, I got Tim Tszyu, but is it official? Fundor's style is fun, but you're gonna get ate up by what's his name, and you're a volume puncher as well. I think a very good fight that I've always been interested in seeing is Fundora versus Errol Spence. You got two volume punchers, both got sloppy defense and things like that. Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, I mean, you had a smear campaign, and you know, people are easily influenced today. Cruz should win. I mean, I would put my money on Cruz. What's his name? He's even getting knocked out more in sparring, and of course, I mean, he has no boxing acumen. All he goes in there is try to be a slugger. Maybe one of these days he will catch a guy with that type of style, rolling. Sluggers, when they do connect, they hit big home runs. So, I mean, he does have a possibility of maybe doing that. But again, I got Pitbull. Yeah. Yeah, Mike Coppinger, he's one of those guys that likes to be first, so he doesn't care about accuracy. It's just the nature of the business today. If you're first, you can get more views and things like that. So they're saying that Fundora is fighting Tim Tszyu. Did I not say that earlier on this live stream? I said it was either going to be Lubin or Fundora, so it doesn't surprise me. I got Tim Tszyu winning. I mean, what else is there to be said? And I haven't even read the news on Keith Thurman. I just, when I was going through YouTube, saw that he pulled out. But again, I didn't even care to click on the videos to hear the details. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence is pulled out of a mini fight due to injuries. So, what is PBC doing? That'd be cool. I don't. I know he beat Spence Crawford. You know, I, I I saw a little apprehension when it came to Crawford. So I, of course, am going to go for Crawford versus Tim Tszyu. I don't know if anything with those fighters being injured because again I've seen Errol Spence pull out of a main knockout fight, so I don't know why they do things or how it occurs, and I don't know if I'm gonna believe the story if I even care to look into it. But it's not like we haven't seen this before. Keith Thurman's injured, but I want to see the Fundora versus Errol Spence fight. I think that'd be a good fight. It'd be a clash of styles. You got two volume punchers, but I wouldn't mind seeing Thurman versus Errol Spence. Finally get that fight going and see who comes up with the excuse after an injury, whoever the loser is, because they're both injury prone at this point. As far as pay per view, I hope they don't plan on keeping that pay per view. Like, I don't, I'm not going to pay for Fundora versus Tim Tszyu. You're telling me that water's wet, man. Keith Thurman hasn't fought in a while. Water's wet, bro. I used to love the NBA back in the day. I can barely watch it today, man. I think so too. I think Keith was just going to get on his bike and try to counterpunch all night. You know, I saw that the Jamal was actually training or something, but of course, after what happened to Jamel, we haven't heard from him. I think Fundora will also make for a more entertaining fight because again, he's going to get knocked out. So he, to me, he's just like another Errol Spence. He's a guy who throws volume. Now he doesn't have the supposed jab that people claim that Spence has, but or the fundamentals that people claim that Spence has. But I think he's a guy who's more on the ground and shield. Um, And he's going to come forward no matter what until he can't anymore. Yeah, Thurman, I'm telling you, he would have just got on that bicycle and tried to be like Floyd Mayweather, in his mind at least. And like I said, he's just going to try to land a sneaky counter left hook all night. That's all he's going to do. And again, he's going to try to make it close, you know, where he gets to say that, I was in the fight or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Fundora at least is going to go out there and try to, do his best. You think it's going to be a slugfest? We'll see, man. I don't see Tim Tszyu going backwards, and I think he's actually going to be able to push a guy like Fundora backwards. And I haven't seen Fundora fight backwards. So again, well, That's just like two Rams going at each other, you know. But one guy is going to have to fold, and I see Fundor folding in that fight. As far as the NBA, there's a lot of talent, but again, I can't watch this new age stuff in the NBA. And the refs are too much a part of the game today. I get tired of the action always being stopped so frequently. Guys get to go to the free throw line like 20, shoot 18 free throws, dude. Like that, it drives me crazy, man. It drives me insane. Like, just let them play, and I don't know, let them be more physical. So so a guy doesn't just pad his stats going to the line 15 to 20 times and getting 20 points just off free throws. Like, come on, man. But the talent's unbelievable. Like everybody's talented today in the NBA. I do give them that, but it's too regulated. The refs are in too much involved again and again. I get sick of seeing three or let me go to the free throw line. You know. As far as the defense, it's been like that for a minute. Yeah, the refs are too involved in the game, and I know they dictate the outcome of the game. It's a lot worse than it's ever been, to be honest with you. And they've caught plenty of refs who are involved in gambling and things like that. But also, when the flop was implemented into basketball as well, like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. I've heard some crazy things about Kobe. We can get into some crazy stuff, you know. I don't care. Which one are you talking about? The one that claims sexual assault? Or, I shouldn't even say that on live, but I know they're already gonna mark. They've been marking my stuff up more, so YouTube's been kind of going crazy. That's what Andrew Tate was talking about as well, and he was getting into the legal system. And I was like, "Yep, that's the same thing they did to me." Look what they push, man. Look what they push. Look what they push. Look what these dudes roll up in. You know what I'm saying? Don't they have like a new tournament like within the league or something? See, I haven't even been following it that much. Yeah, the play in or whatever. I don't even know what's going on today with the NBA. It used to be such a great sport, and teams were more balanced back in the day too. And I think that helped. Well, I don't know anything about the numbers of viewership today, but you always had at least two all stars on every team. You know what I'm saying? As far as the shame rituals, and we're talking about the NBA, I mean, you see what their players do. You know what I'm saying? But that stuff is real, guys. I even called the court out on that stuff, and we're talking years ago. I was like, I felt like I went through a humiliation ritual, and it was just utterly dumb. You know what I'm saying? Utterly dumb. The whole process was a joke. There's a reason why they do it. You got to be a part of the club. You got to. It's like when you commit a crime, you know, you have to be implicit with it and keep like kind of an oath of silence about it. Otherwise, they're gonna, bring that dirt out on you and stuff. It is starting to get cold. I'm in Arizona, man. I'm not used to it being cold. You trying to get into the crazy stuff, man. You trying to get into the crazy stuff. I think so. I mean, Ryan Garcia's kind of exposed it. Um, there are plenty of people that are coming out on that stuff. Of course, there are, and you see that it's the same across the board. Um, to make it in movies, you got to do this. It depends where you grow up in. There's a lot of nice areas, and Arizona is pretty modern compared to a lot of other states in this country. The infrastructure, everything else is good. Our roads are way better than a lot of other states. I know that because I drive a lot. Um, but yeah, there's some rough parts, and there's some very clean parts as well. So depends on what part of Phoenix, man. Like Southside, yeah, you know, but there's some uppity parts in Phoenix, especially when you get closer to Paradise Valley, those type of places. Scottsdale, again, there's nothing going on there. Well, there's white collar stuff going on there. That makes sense. Mm. A lot of people they say the weather there is nice, so I'm pretty sure that's why they go down there. It's warm, but when you fly over Florida, you can see that it's underwater. So I don't trust it for that reason. Tempe's okay. Again, it's a hot spot for the R word. If you understand what I'm saying, especially by the college. So it's well known. So like I said, it just depends. Um, Chandler, Gilbert, those areas are really nice. Like I said, Arizona is pretty modern. It keeps up its infrastructure and things like that. They're constantly, yeah, it depends where you go. Um, East Mesa, and of course, I'm sure you guys have heard of Apache Junction. There's a lot of, you know, meth and that type of stuff. And I think crime has risen here, especially in the past year or two, but still, you know, what are those? The Scarlet interviews, or what are you saying? Yeah, that's what's really killed it here, to be honest with you. They're kind of Arizona used to be a pretty good state. That's all I can say. but now they're being influenced by these type of people that are moving here. It just depends where you're at. You know, there's some good areas and there's some bad areas, just like anywhere else. It did. It went absolutely insane because they're used to paying those type of prices, and they come here and they're just buying everything up. There's some cool parts, but me, I like the East Coast better. I like uh, the eastern part of the United States more so than the West. If you go to states like Oregon, Washington, California, of course, you know, you hear what's going on there. Nevada, but you know, Arizona used to be a pretty good state, like I said, but then they're being influenced by a lot of people that are moving here from California. But when you go to San Diego, it's kind of its own alien place. It doesn't allow all that stuff to influence it. It's nice and clean. You know what I'm saying? Now the West Coast is pretty cool, man. But I don't know. I like the East Coast more. I need to get like a fireplace or something out here. Yeah, you. Yeah, yeah. Arizona State University is a very popular place. So yeah, if that's your thing, if that's what you're looking for. Um, I will say this: I after what I've been through, I ain't going back to a white woman again. Let's just say that, bro. I ain't messing with them no more. But you pick your poison. I'm just letting you. I'm just warning you, man. Save yourself. No, there's some good ones out there when you can find a level-headed one. You know, you just do your thing. I wouldn't. I don't know. I think there's some more very down-to-earth type women. Maybe you're lucky, man. Maybe you're saved drama. They are, for the most part. And I'm sure they say the same about us. We're all the same, but whatever. We don't have the law on our side. I can tell you that. I went to Florida. It was pretty nice. I will say that, but I didn't get to explore like I wanted to explore. But I just couldn't. I couldn't deal with the just the swampiness. You know what I'm saying, bro? I don't even. Maybe I'll do a live stream just on that alone, or a video or something, but a testimony or something. Man, it's only been in the past few years, man. That's the funny part. Just in the past few years. maybe we'll get into it. Like I said, you know, I see that a lot of people talk about a certain topic of Jezebel. So, like I said, I have plenty of information on that type of stuff. And like I said, we can dedicate a video or a live just to that topic alone. If you guys are smart, though, I would say stay away from them all entirely, you know. But that's in hindsight, and of course, I didn't follow that advice myself. So, uh, they're not just horny, man. They're after your soul, bro. I don't even want to start. This one in particular that I had to deal with, dude, I'm trying to tell you, definitely a terror for those of you who read your Bible. Definitely sent on assignment, bro. Definitely sent on assignment. And when you read about narcissism and things like that, narcissists, how they operate, I'm starting to meet some nice ones now, but, you know, I just don't want them to be a part of the drama that I've been involved with. So I've been playing it cool, man. And you also don't know what type of baggage people are attached to. So I was a guy, I didn't have discernment back in the day. And it ended up costing me, but I'm still here and I'm still breathing and I'm still living. But I definitely, you play with fire, you're going to get burned. You know what's funny is I was given warnings about this particular person and I chose to ignore them. So, and let's just say, I found God and I think that's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. So, because without him, I wouldn't have got through what I had to deal with. It's a lot of people's problem. You guys got anything else you want to talk about? Feel free. I probably got another good 5 or 10 minutes and I'm going to head inside. I've been on here for an hour and 10 minutes or 110 minutes. I didn't plan on being on here that long, but it is what it is. And I don't know who it was earlier. You guys want to do a live tomorrow? We can do a live tomorrow because I have the next 2 days off. Yep. Good night, bro. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I'm pretty sure there's going to be record breaking, whatever. And the environmentalists are going to go insane. See, we told you there's global warming. Like, okay, you guys are more than likely screwing everything up. Like, sure. I don't know where you guys are at. I feel like it is. I mean, they've admitted it. It's public knowledge. It's not conspiracy theory. A lot of this stuff that I talk about on this channel, it's not conspiracy theory. Like, I go above and beyond to make sure that sources are real, and if there's other stuff to back it up, but they've already admitted this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can. It's not conspiracy theory. They've been trying to do things that they shouldn't do. It's just that simple. And I mean, I could even go deep. You know what I'm saying? Deep about what they're doing. Like, it wouldn't make sense to burn down trees while you're trying to claim that this will help the environment, and global warming and things. So you got to understand there's money involved, and there's all kinds of other stuff involved with this stuff. Unfortunately, unfortunately, Deep Throat back in the day used to say just follow the money. So, you know, it's the same deal. Just follow the money. Who's making money gives you more of a picture of what's happening. And someone made money off of that. Someone came up. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I'll be back on tomorrow. You guys got topics or anything you want to talk about? Think about it, and we'll do it again tomorrow. All right, guys? It's been fun, and I hope you guys have a good night. All right? What the heck? I still don't know how to do this.